What's the weirdest thing that happened to you as a loan officer?
Okay, so story time. Back when I was a new loan officer, I got a file from a really successful realtor. And I thought this was going to be my breakout loan. So I was going to do everything I could in my power to make sure that loan closed and it went as smooth as possible. So they actually sent me a VA borrower, and it was a really rough file. I mean, dude had terrible credit. He had a VA foreclosure. It was a mess. We got the file closed, but when we first started the file, he couldn't sign his initial disclosures. He couldn't figure it out. So I said, you know what, Mr. Borrower, don't worry about it. I'll come over to your house and, we'll find those in your email and sign them, and I'll answer any questions that you have. I just want to make sure you're taken care of. So I go and meet the borrower. He's an older gentleman, really rough guy, but sweetheart, right? He had his son, his daughter-in-law, and his granddaughter living with him. And so he was really rough, but he was taking care of his family. So we sit down and he opens up his email and he's like, yeah, it's in here somewhere. So he let me start freely scrolling through his email, and he's sitting 2 inches to my left, and it's all emails from pornography sites. It's like super hot girls, live chat now, XXX. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is so awkward. So I'm just rifling through like these 100 emails, and he's like, yeah, I got all this junk mail today. I can't find those initial disclosures. And I'm like, bro. So we find it in the junk mail, right? Like typical. And so he signs it. He didn't have any questions. And dude, I got out of there so fast. Like, dude, my ears were sweating. My face was getting flushed. I was like super uncomfortable. So I call the realtor when I leave, and I'm like, hey, this is what happened. And she was like mortified, dude. She was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Like, I didn't think da da da. And I was like, dude, don't even worry about it. Like, we had a good laugh after, but while I was sitting there next to him, it was the most uncomfortable I've ever been in a loan scenario. And that was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me as a loan officer.